You know, back when I first started my business, this is 45 years ago, I was very fortunate to have found some mentors in my life. There was one man in particular who was getting a little bit older, but could still climb and could still do some pretty basic stuff, but he needed someone younger, and so he hired me to do his jobs for him. But I was a real greenhorn and I needed advice. Now that was 40 years ago, 45 years ago, and nowadays, if you want to learn how to become an arborist, or a tree surgeon is what it's called in some parts of the world, you really have to go to work for another company that really teaches you from the ground up. And unfortunately, there's a lot of companies that are really lacking in training. They'll bring people in and expect you to just watch and learn. But unless you find somebody who will take the time to say, here, let me show you how to tie that knot, or no, don't do it that way because, or here's an idea. There's a lot of these things that are tried and true that you only learn through experience or having a mentor show you. So the point of this whole conversation is, why my YouTube channel? Well, multi-sided here. The first reason that I built this YouTube channel was for my clients. I wanted to be able to forward videos that would answer questions on specific topics. And then as I started thinking about it, I thought, this could be really good for younger climbers or new climbers or people that just want to advance their career and gain a little bit of insight from my mistakes, my adventures, some of the things that I have done, because I've done a lot in my years. And I'm not bragging and saying I'm, one of the best by any means. Okay, I'm a very average, middle of the road tree guy, but I still got all my fingers, so I'm doing something right. So I'm trying to put together this collection of videos that is very diverse. Everything from specifics and individual topics, small things like different types of fungus to, different species of trees, but also right way and wrong way to make pruning cuts. Because unfortunately, there's a lot of companies out there that haven't got a clue. They're going wild. They're cutting haphazardly, and the bosses are not training them. They don't really care. I think that's a big part of it. A lot of apathy. People just don't care. Put your spurs on, get up there, cut it. Hey, it's just a tree. What the hell? Well, that's not the way I like to work. So welcome to my channel. I hope I've been helpful to you. And there's a lot of you guys out there that just love trees and like to learn more about trees. You may never work in a tree, but, some of you armchair arborists out there, hey, I'm all with you. So this brings me to the real point of this particular video, and that is ignorance. Tree guys that don't know the difference. They may think they're doing a good job. Just the point that this tree was spurred tells me that the people that went up in this tree didn't really understand what they were doing or why they were doing it. Most importantly, why was this done? Now these are redwood trees, and I talk a lot about redwood trees, but it's a good example of a single leader tree. It could be a fir, it could be a spruce, it could be a cedar, but there's a lot of trees that grow really tall and thin. And in this case, the people that did this work decided to thin it out excessively. Here's another tree on the same property, and that's overdone, but these two were done so excessively, you shouldn't see blue sky through a redwood tree. What they did is they took out every other branch, or even more so, and then stripped out some of those branches. Now they probably sold them on the idea of thinning it out will keep the wind going through it, so it'll make it safer. Now look at this basket case. What the hell? I mean, you take a beautiful tree, and you take a beautiful example of a magnificent specimen, and you do this to it. Now the really scary thing is this particular species will continue to grow, it will continue to sprout out, And in 5 years' time, it will take on the appearance of being a presentable tree. However, because this tree was stubbed out all around, all those end cuts will become big bushes of new growth, which will start breaking off, will cause all kinds of problems. And you can see, judging by all the other trees on their property, that whoever did this work, and that could be thousands of companies all across this country. There are thousands of companies that have not got a clue. They don't know why they're doing what they're doing. What's the purpose? Now, when I get back to redwood trees, it is a species of tree that is overplanted, and they really don't belong down here in the lowlands, but people love them, so they continue to plant them. California, we're a drought state, and these trees need a lot of water, but you put them up in their right environment, up in the hills, the coastal range, they'll do great. But you bring them down lowlands, and they can become monsters in no time with weak wood, weak root systems. They're susceptible to decay. So let's go where they belong. Here's a park that I talk about frequently, Big Basin. It's in California. It has some of the giant trees. Some of the biggest trees in the world are in some of the parks in California. This is an amazing example right here. This tree was hollowed out a long time ago by a fire. And I asked the rangers when the fire happened, and they really don't know. It would be interesting to figure it out. But you can see that these trees left alone can become absolutely magnificent. And they're very slow growing. This tree is thousands of years old. But you put them in the urban environment and they grow too fast. They're not slow growing. They become real problems. Now, I wanted to show you this picture because the wood in an old growth redwood is very, very durable. Not so in an urban redwood. So let's go back and look at the tree that was just destroyed. I want to leave you with a shocking image of pure ignorance. And sadly, these guys thought they were doing the right thing. Well, thanks for watching, and please subscribe to my channel.